Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maximo and I'm here checking out Motorstorm RC. Wow, I can't believe I haven't gone around to this one before now. So this is a weird little RC racing game from the people who actually did make the original Motorstorm games. It's certainly something, I've got to say. So there isn't much in the way of a regular start menu, so I'm just going to drive around for a little bit while I explain what this game is and give you a little bit of history, because funnily enough, this game has a weird story behind it, and it's something most people wouldn't know. So back when the Vita first came out, this came out within like a couple of months of the Vita coming out, if I remember correctly. I know it was within the first 6. And this was originally a free game because Toyota, I think, it's Toyota, isn't it? I assume so, but yeah, that's the Toyota logo, isn't it? But yeah, Toyota actually sponsored this game with the Scion brand of cars, and you could get it for free if you wanted to. You could just go and download it. And the only thing they would have in the game in the way of advertising is that you could use the Scion car as a playable skin for one of the car types, and that was basically it. You basically got the entire game for free. It was almost unbelievable, actually. And then the game, after a while anyway, it went paid. So you have to pay $4.99 for it now, or you can pay $9.99 and get it plus its 2 expansions. But let's just stop driving around for a bit and actually have a look around the menus before we do anything. So we do have an options menu here, which I do quite like, because there's a few things here. Like, you've got the opacity of like ghosts and that, but you've actually got a fully rebindable control scheme. You can actually change how the steering works as well, so that you can either have it so that it'll be like your traditional turn left, turn right, but you can also make it so that it'll actually point towards where your car will actually point towards where you're pointing the analog stick. So if you want to drive to the up left, you point the stick up left. You can also rebind every single control as well. Normally it's on the left and right sticks, but you can also rebind, accelerate, brake, and all these other buttons here to the different buttons that you would like, which is actually really nice, because I prefer playing games with like the accelerator and the brake on the shoulder buttons, so yeah, I'll take that. You can also get weird little DLC skins for different kinds of cars, and I've got the rubber ducky skin because that's fun. So if we hit the select button, it'll actually take us into the main menu. Notably, the triangle button in this game is actually really sensitive. I've set it off by accident, and I don't know how. I keep doing that. But you can go into your collection here, which actually has all your different kinds of cars. There's 8 different kinds of cars, as you can see, and they all handle very differently. Getting into the supercar feels a hell of a lot different than getting into the monster truck, for example. You also get models for them the more races you win. So you can come in here to get your different kinds of models, I should say. You can change their paint job, and you can change their paint style, which is actually really nice, because you can just change it to the way you like it. And it's very simple. You have the pit wall, which is actually a sort of relic of when Sony was really trying to push the whole social integration thing. And you can see people's times, and you can see when you've beaten their times. So you can come back and try and beat the crap out of them if you feel like it. People are still playing this game today, which is actually really nice. You can also get new news and stuff, and you can even publish your times to Twitter and send them to other people via the PlayStation Network. The playground is where we were just at. It's a little place where you can drive around and play with whatever cars you feel like. You get more cars there as you play through the game. And there's also recreation, which is basically your free play mode, where you can time attack, or you can do races, drift, and hot lap modes with as many laps as you feel necessary. Notably, laps in this game are actually really short, but we'll get to that basically right now, because we're going to go into the festival. The festival is where you go to earn new cars and well, I don't think you earn new tracks, but you earn new cars and you earn new events by winning medals. Pro-Am and Carnival are the expansions, and you get them for, I think it's $2.50 each. Might be a little more, but again, you can just buy it complete and get it for like $9.99. So I would actually recommend that, spoiler alert. But we're going to go play some Monument Valley. We're going to play some earlier events, just because I'm not particularly great at this game, because I haven't played it in years. And for some reason, the game actually keeps your progress online bound to your PSN ID. You don't even need to worry about PlayStation Cloud saving. It will just pull it all straight down as soon as you load it up on a Vita that's hooked up to the right account. So, this is Motorstorm RC. Basically, I ran into a wall. It's a racing game, but just with a weird little perspective on things. So, you can change the camera angle with the triangle button. You can press a circle button, I believe it is, to reset yourself on the track if you run into issues. But other than that, it's really basically simple. It's a RC racing game with some really weird themes and stuff. The courses are also really short. Like those 30 seconds there I took to explain the bonus controls are more or less a full lap. So yeah, a full lap in this game can be anything from 15 to 30 seconds. It's usually not much longer than that. And you just have to try and win. There are some extra game modes, like a time trial mode, and I'm really terrible at this. There's a time trial mode, there's a pursuit, not pursuit, an overtake mode. Well, it's called pursuit, but it's basically just overtaking dudes. And there's a, what's the word I'm looking for? That's a wall. Yeah, it's an overtaking mode where you gotta overtake a certain amount of cars. There's a hot lap mode. There's a... We'll just go and do another event, because why the hell not? We'll do it in a different area as well. We'll race with the monster truck, why not? The AI actually does get significantly more difficult as you move through events, so sticking to the earlier events I think will be a good idea for me at this point. But yeah, there's time trial modes, there's hot, which is basically a hot lap mode. There's also a hot lap mode, I think. And basically just all the stuff you would expect from your basic racing game is what's here, and that's perfectly fine. Like, it doesn't have much in the way of really impressive modes, so you just need to, you've just got all the basic stuff, and you just need to worry about getting better on the course. It's mainly about memorizing the courses, unlike what I've done here, because seriously, remembering some of these courses is just a pain, and we'll get to that. But it's basically just about memorizing courses and, you know, improving your driving skill, because as I said, each of these cars drive significantly differently. Like, there's a supercar, for example, which just takes off. There's a muscle car, which is absolutely fantastic for drifting. The monster truck here is really easy to control, but it's not very fast. So you need to learn every car on every track, which can be kind of annoying because there's 25 tracks in the game and they're all relatively different. I mean, sure, you could memorize this game with a fair bit of effort, but I would like to see something in the way of, I might as well show off a different camera angle. So this is what aerial mode looks like. So generally you want to be memorizing as much as possible because you want to be able to, oh yeah, we'll show off pursuit mode with the Super Mini, why not? Generally, yeah, you can see the advertising here. Is that the Toyota logo? Might be Nissan. I'm sorry, I don't know my cars. I really don't. I know my video games. That's basically about it. But yeah, the basic general idea is you want to be memorizing all the tracks, and you want to be memorizing them because since all the cars are so different, you want to know the tracks ahead of time so that when you get around to getting used to all the cars, you can take on the tracks with as much gusto as is necessary to try and win as fast as humanly possible, because I remember playing this game a while back and it takes a lot of effort to get good at this game. Like, the amount of time it can take to earn, like, a gold on one event, it could be upwards of an hour that you could spend on it, because the game can really be that difficult. Sure, you can take any class of car into any event that you want, but it can still be really difficult. Like, they give you a nice easy time in the first few events here. But other than that, it's surprisingly difficult sometimes. Yeah, you can see my how I'm doing on the leaderboards here. I beat him by about 5 seconds, and I can send him a message saying I won against him. Alright, let's pick something that's a little more interesting. Big rig? Why not? I'm probably going to lose, but worth a try anyway. My only problem, as I said before, is that the tracks can be really hard to memorize. Sure, they're really short tracks, and if you play it enough, you'll get it stuck in your head. But I'd appreciate like a little mini-map displaying somewhere on the screen. So I could say, I could just refer to that and be like, oh yeah, there's like an S-bend coming up, or something like that, you know? Like, it would have been nice to know that U-turn was coming up. It can be kind of hard to see ahead of time. They do give you a lot of camera angles, which I appreciate, but it's something that really could have been easier to solve if they just used a mini-map. Like, seriously, something in the bottom right corner wouldn't be getting in the way of the majority of the camera angles, and it would be relatively simple to implement, so I'm not entirely sure why it wasn't a thing in the first place. Is this the big rig? I think this is the big rig, but yeah, this thing is a lot harder to drive. I do have a brake, but in this game, you don't want to use the brake very much because everybody else basically knows how to use the brake better than you do. So you'll just end up falling behind if you use the brake too much. Also, yeah, as you can tell, I'm kind of having a bit of trouble with the whole slipping out bullshit because fuck snow. Yeah, I fucked up that one. We are not seeing the end of that race, which kind of sucks. Snowdrift. Okay, we'll show you a drift event with the muscle car, because why the hell not? It's still fun though. Like, it's frustrating at times, don't get me wrong, but I am still enjoying it quite thoroughly, even today. It's good fun. And the physics can be slightly annoying, mainly because of how like, all these minor little pieces of shit going on. Like, all these minor little fence posts and all of these minor little fence posts and all the little objects lying in the field, you can run into them, and your car is sensitive enough to them to make it so that you will actually need to be careful on how you go about things, because if you run into them, you might actually, like, lose time, because it's not like a regular racing game like, say, Burnout, for example. I haven't actually played a Motorstorm game proper, so I don't know exactly how the physics engines and stuff work in those games. But in Burnout, at the very least, it's not like you just run into a thing and it just flies away. No, in this game, it can actually significantly affect you, which is kind of disappointing in all honesty. Because I would have liked it if there were just, like, more levels which just let you run through random shit. Would have been great. But yeah, there you go. That's what Drift looks like. Let's go and play on Apocalypse, because why not? Let's pick something I haven't been in yet, like maybe a supercar? Were the supercars added in this set of events? No, maybe I just don't have access to them yet. Let's go play Recreation. I'll go and play in like a supercar or something. So, yeah, free play. We'll do something that was in one of the expansions. It's a sideshow, that will do. Race, 5 laps. And I'll be in the supercar. I'll put all the AI in the supercar, and I'll put the difficulty on medium, just to make it slightly challenging for the video. If I remember the supercar correctly, this thing just, like, takes off like nobody's business, so you need to be very careful when you're using it. Can we talk about the graphical fidelity? Let's talk about the graphical fidelity. So, game looks lovely. Like, I will give it all the credit for that, and it runs pretty well too. Like, I love all the detail they've got going in all the different environments here. Like, you've got just all the background stuff going on. This is one of the expansion tracks, but still, it looks great. And it runs pretty well too. Like, if you're ever having a problem with your driving, you're not going to be able to blame it on the game's performance, because it runs really well and just looks really nice. But yeah, as I've said before, it can be kind of hard to memorize the tracks, especially when there's parts where you have to basically cross back over where you've been before. and it's just kind of annoying. Not that big of a deal. Again, you can memorize it pretty well, but just, yeah, a little bit of a thing for you. Be ready for a little bit of trouble. But still, it doesn't get in the way of this being a really nice looking game, and it's presented really well. So I don't mind the music either, and just the general sound of everything. It fits theme and works pretty well. Nothing I'd put on my Zune. That's the first thing I thought of. Nothing I'd put on my Walkman, more like. But nothing I'd put on my device to listen to later. But it fits the theme. It fits purpose, and I'm fine with that. Seriously, this thing is fucking fast. I'm amazed I adapted to it as fast as I did. And honestly, if that was in an actual event, I would probably get the shit beat out of me. Let's go back to the festival, shall we? We'll play the RC Pro-Am, and we will play with, yeah, the buggy. Why not? We haven't been in the buggy yet, I don't think. I think if I remember correctly, the DLC events are more biased towards higher difficulty levels, so I think you're meant to, like, play through the actual game first. Let's go back to aerial dynamic camera, actually. I think the dynamic camera actually puts the camera in the direction you need to be worried about moving, which is actually a pretty nice little feature. But then you've got shit like that you can completely miss because of the way the tracks are designed, and I'm spinning out. Let's try that again. Whoops. Didn't mean to actually press selector. Oh. Let's go, aerial. Let's go. Yeah, this thing can skid. Right up here. A little bit of a half pipe going on, then a quick turn, which I fucked up because I fell on my side, and now I'm back in 7th. And that was a lap. Wow, yeah, if you couldn't tell, I'm shit at this. Let's not race around in the buggy again. You can see how much trouble I'm having with it. So you can see how you get different kinds of medals for different levels of performance, and that's what you need to unlock more events later on. What else we got? Aqua playing with a monster truck is a time trial. Why the hell not? But yeah, this is Motorstorm RC. It's really cheap. As I said, it's $5 if you just want the base game, or $10 if you want basically everything, which is the game and the 2 expansions. There are also some purchasable models for the, you can purchase models for different cars in the game, but it's not necessary, we'll put it that way. But yeah, I like it a lot. The driving physics are really enjoyable. The driving physics are really enjoyable. The game itself is just a fun racer. Got a good amount of skill to it. Couple of little issues that I'd like to see resolved, like, you know, like a mini-map or just like something that would help me memorize the tracks better, but otherwise it's still pretty damn good. I enjoy it a lot, and really, I should play more of it, but I'm just, you know, always trying out new games and new experiences. But this game was fun back in the day, it's still fun now, and it's still a really reasonable price. Like, you get a really good amount of time out of the $10 you'd put into the complete edition. So, really, I don't have a problem with it. Have I played on Splashdown yet? I don't think I have. We'll play on it. Why not? But yeah, the game's great. Like, I don't have that many problems with it at all. It's a fun racer. It'd be nice if it had online multiplayer, but at the same time, I could see how that would be a bit of a pain in the ass. So I'm fine with it not existing, and the fact that it's got such tight integration with like racing against your friends' times and stuff like that kind of makes up for it, especially on the events that wouldn't be able to be done in multiplayer anyway, just because they've got such nice ghost support going on that it's actually just like, it's actually pretty good. I'm fine with it. And would I recommend it for the $10 you pay for the complete edition? Absolutely. Just be prepared for a little bit of frustration as you spin the fuck out on some asshole's bumper that won't get out of your fucking way. I swear that happens a lot more often than you might think. How did I end up in 8th? I was in 1st for a second there. Let's give that one more try, just so I don't look completely incompetent, but this is me we're talking about. I've never been completely competent. There's always a little bit of incompetence inside the smoothie. Inside the smoothie, that is my gameplay skill. Driving kind of reminds me of Drive Club, actually, which I believe was actually made by Evolution Studios, the people who made this. Oh, shit. Oh, no, you son of a bitch. Oh, no, you son of a... Ah! Damn it. What a little shit. But yeah, I've unlocked, new events. Because I believe the events here are... Yeah, the events here are separate from the other ones. But yeah, that was a quick look at Motorstorm RC. Really good. Fun little bite-sized racer. Got a lot of social integration. The cars are all significantly different and fun to drive, despite being a bit skill-based, which I'm terrible at. And it's just a good time. I got no problem with it whatsoever. And yeah, I recommend it. It's a shame I couldn't do that 5 years ago, but oh well. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.